that was the second one people really struggled with. The next one was a question that is actually referred to on page 10 in our text. And it is, gradual is to blank as emergence is to blank. And so gradual is to continuity as emergence is to discontinuity. The visual I would have with that is if you think about like a graph, continuity would be a graph that's slowly going up over time, but it's very steady. There are no juts, ups and downs. There are no leveling off and then jumps up. It's just very evenly going up or going down. It's continuous movement. If you think about discontinuity, and you'll see this in different theorists as we come into the next 2 weeks, is it's like something will happen and you'll kind of jump up and you'll be plateaued and then you'll jump up. It's almost like a stair going up or going down and then going back up. So it really has to do with that you can have plateaus and then all of a sudden something happens and you're at that next stage. So again, that was on page 10 of our text. The next question that we had some concerns with is actually on page 11. And it talks, this is the critical period. A critical period, which is the right answer, is a limited time in development when an individual is open to specific experiences in the environment. So again, it's not the social clock or normative history, grade changes, or sensitive periods. If you look at the definition of critical period on page 11, I think that will make more sense for you. This next question is also on page 11, and this is one everyone seemed to really struggle with, and the answer is sensitive period. Reading skills are acquired by some children before they enter formal school, by other children in kindergarten and first grade, but are not achieved by some children until third or fourth. Acquiring reading skills is an example of a sensitive period. I'm sorry if you hear my dog right now because I'm at home. Mac, you're not going to go out and get the mailman right now. Come on. Up. Lie down. Lie down. All right, so I hope, again, just look at those definitions for critical period and sensitive period on page 11, and I hope those two questions will make more sense. You can always go back into the test and look at the questions that you got wrong, and hopefully these will help you if I'm giving you these page numbers where you might be able to find them. And I'm not covering all of the questions right now, so if you have a question or if you don't know where to find the answer for a specific question, just let me know and I can get back to you on that. This next one is case histories. It's going to be found on page 15. Case histories are descriptive methods in which individual child is studied at length. The method is most appropriate to employ when assessing atypical development. So, out of all of those, if you look on page 15, that should come through. And each of you are going to do a case study, which is similar. You're not really necessarily looking for atypical development. You're just trying to gauge where their development is in a case study. But it would be a way of assessing atypical development. The next question we're going to cover would be found on page 15 and 16, the answer. When should the naturalistic observation method be employed? And it's for ecological validity. Again, that's going to be on page 15 and 16. The next question is going to be found on page 17. An independent variable is to manipulate, as dependent variable is to measure. Again, so what we're trying to do with an independent, the relationship between an independent and a dependent is always that the independent is what we control, and we're trying to find out how the dependent works when we change the independent variable. So if I said, the longer I give you on your test, the better the scores will be. The independent variable is the length of time I give you. The dependent variable will be your grade. So if I give you more time, ideally your grades would go up. That's maybe my hypothesis. But sometimes more time, the grades stay the same, or they could go down. So we're measuring what happens to the grade when we change the time. Often time is something that cannot be dependent. It's usually the independent variable. I hope that makes sense. The next question is going to be found on page 18 and 19. And the question is, in cases where random assignment cannot be accomplished and the ethical manipulation of variables is not possible, a researcher must rely on which of the following research designs? And it's the quasi-experimental. So if you look for that definition on those pages 18 and 19 and read that carefully, I'm hoping you'll be able to see why that is. The next question is found on page 17. Which of the following variables can systematically be manipulated? And it's going to be reading scores. Again, I can't manipulate someone's age and I can't manipulate their intelligence or their gender, but I can manipulate their reading scores. The last one that I'm going to cover today is going to be found on page 18. And the question is, a major limitation of longitudinal designs in particular is practice effects. Again, that's going to be found on page 18. So I hope this helps a little bit with the quiz. I'm going to post another video that I actually did for my my other online class about the discussion boards and how you really need to be looking at those. So I hope you look at both of these videos. One last piece of advice, I'll probably do a third video, please look for, on your reflection papers and why you may or may not get full points on those. So I hope this helped a little bit. Let me know, give me feedback, either on your individual discussion board with me, on the burning question area, email me, come see me in my office, or text me. Thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate it. Thanks.